I mean, the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before anybody sits down, yeah, we did have one of our recreation members passed away. Ward Duclos. I'm sure you've read about it in the news, you've heard about it. His wife Joanne is not doing very well, severe injuries. So Ward Duclos was a recreation committee member, and I'm sure Elizabeth could talk about a lot about him, and so could Tim. I just some things stick in my mind, such as when they were filling Easter eggs, and they always had a love for this village and everything. I got to know Ward on the Ward worked on the comprehensive plan, and Joanne reminded me of that. He also worked on the code book, and that's where I got to know him very well. A consummate professional, just a great love for our community, dedicated so much time, personal time, to our village is what makes it great. He was also a member of the Homer Business Association. And outside of the village, I got to see him on occasion at Burger King or Taco Bell and other such things with him and Joanne. He is going to be sorely missed. So if you would all join me in a minute of silence, please. Let's keep Joanne in our hearts and prayers as she goes through recovery. Another side note is that in March, it's going to be Women's History Month. And the League of Women Voters is doing a dinner discussion at the CNY Living History Center. So we have some of these at the village office for anybody that's interested. All right, let's get this meeting started. We've got Nikki, who is one of our new clerks, has really done a bang up job on the minutes. So I would like a motion to approve the minutes of January 13th, 26th, January 27th, 26th, and February 10th, 26th. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes for January 13, January 27, and February 10, 2026.
Okay, any, can I have a second?
I second it.
Any discussion on those? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None heard, carried. Looking for a motion to pay the bills.
Make a motion that we authorize the payment of the bills from the A Fund vouchers number 1,248 through 1,296 in the amount of $26,929.72. From the F&G Fund vouchers number 383 through 393 in the amount of $19,687.25. And from the TNA Fund vouchers number 37 through 41 in the amount of $3,883.51.
Tim seconds, thank you. Discussion, just a couple things from the F Fund. It's $16,800 for the BNL water tank. In the A Fund, we have the $6,076 from the lighting project. And also from the A fund, we have a fire compressor as the three-phase hookup, which cost $5,078. But the good news about that is our firefighters will now be able to refill their own SCBA tanks at the station. So we have a motion, a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None heard. Motion carried. All right, privilege of the floor. Mike, do you have anything?
Well, you update you on the building program, I know you know, but they're pushing them hard for April, first of April completion, it's gonna be tight, I called the contractor meeting tomorrow. I want some further clarification and trying to make this happen, along with that, started the process a little bit, talking about that. Well, we gotta have a big celebration here, a big open house and stuff, so we gotta start strategizing that, how that's gonna look. This is big for the town and the village, so.
Yeah.
Want to see a lot of people come through our facility. So that's in the works, we just had, we're working on the solar, we got a bunch of other projects we gotta do in this building too, our cupola and stuff up here, we gotta, wanna get that attended to this year, we got some rotting going on. And painting to get this building looking better, and then eventually it's gonna be re-roofed, but we're looking, and if we re-roof it, I'd like to put it back to what it looked like originally. We got some older pictures with a standing seam roof,
Oh, that'd be great.
so you're trying to restore it back historically on the outside. The inside we can't, but the outside we can, so
Yeah.
that's gonna be in the works. We got our board working on it, some of my board members and stuff, so all good, and just appreciate the cooperation that we're getting here from everybody.
Love doing it.
Yeah.
Adam, are you sticking around so I can do these?
Yeah, it does. If anybody's
Oh.
got any questions or whatever, I can.
All right.
I'm here.
So we'll come back to privilege of the floor here in a second, but I have two things. So everybody is aware that we had the fire at 35 James Street. I'll talk more about it later, but right now I need a motion to declare it a dangerous building. The fire was extensive and we need a motion from the board to do so, so we can post it.
Can I do this, Fireman?
Yes, you can.
Make a motion. Yeah, I just don't want to be.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? None heard. It is declared a dangerous building and will be posted as such. Next up, condemnation, notice. This is just informational for the
Yeah,
board.
so we gotta send out condemnation notice and give her notice that the building's being condemned. And she has a right to appeal that, but my report is that building is clearly unsafe. I mean, fire damage throughout the entire second floor, water damage throughout, every utility on it's been shut out because it's that far damaged. There's no immediate restoration of that if ever, but we need to send her notice so that we give her due process to say that she has right to appeal it.
So these will be posted up. We've already secured the first floor. These will be posted around it. Anything further you need from us, Adam?
We did the securing was kind of done under the emergency clause of the dangerous building local law. There's a section in there, it says it's an emergency, so we basically did it at the village's expense that will be set back to the property itself.
So under the emergency extenuating of circumstances, village funds were utilized to secure the building and clean up around it. And we will be keeping that as a separate line item. Our treasurer is already tracking that. Our staff is already aware that all the monies going against it will be tracked. And then we will look at different options to recoup the money. There's a couple different mechanisms and we will explore those as we get closer. Does anybody else have any more questions for Adam? Okay. All right.
I just want to say he did, he was working Sunday too. He did a great job on Sunday.
Oh,
And he came in
yeah,
to handle things on Sunday, so he did a good job.
yeah, I'm gonna cover that later.
All right, I was, because I'm on it now, I just want to make sure that we had a lot of people that did a good job on Sunday.
Yeah, all right. Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Still on privilege of the floor, legislator Cleveland was not able to be here tonight. He sent us his memorandum, which the group has. If anybody else in the audience would like one, I have an extra copy. Okay. That's all right. To highlight some notes, the county mental health building at 111 Port Watson Street is officially open for service. If anybody that you know needs to benefit from the county services, they can be referred to that new location. Talk about that later. Legislator Cleveland says he'll be able to join us starting again in March. And then Portland County Poet Laureate is near complete, and on Thursday, February 26th, they will unveil the County Poet Laureate to the public. Later, and unless anybody else has something that they want to add, I've got to talk to them about where you can find his website, but we will have this available. Okay. Anything else for privilege of the floor? All right. Old business. There's nothing listed, but we do have something that came up. Arbor Flats, the housing development that's going in the north. We had a bit of a hiccup. The developers had a bit of a hiccup in coordinating with state DOT has a new online permitting process, which everything, I think it might still be beta testing for all I know, but that finally got straightened out. So the state DOT permit has been submitted, and as soon as the village gets the approval and the weather allows it, we will be working on the entrance to D Street, which will then make it better for the developer to move in and start selling houses and building houses. So that is moving along. New business, approve the sale of village property at Durwood Drive and John Street. I've already talked with, we're just waiting on 2 signatures from Chief Pittman and our water department superintendent Keith White, who got caught in the blizzard yesterday, the day before, so he's on his way. Chief Pittman will look at it later. But this was a project that was approved to sell in 24, I think. Yeah, and then it got sidelined with all the changes and turnover we had. So what we are looking to do is put these properties up for sale. There's 2 of them. Okay, you got them? Okay. And what I would like from the board is a conditional approval to put these on the market. Pending the last 2 signatures from Chief Pittman and Keith White. The reason I had all the department heads sign off on this is because I wanted to make sure that there was no reason why we were holding on to it. There's no park there. What it essentially means for us is we're spending time and money to maintain a lot. Not a lot, but a lot. So we can discuss the different options, but I would be looking for a approval by the board that conditional upon Chief Pittman and the water department that we sell these 2 lots.
Make a motion that we approve to list for sale the property at Durwood Drive and John Street, the 2 lots. Conditionally on the approval of the needed approval from Chief Pittman and Keith.
All right.
Second.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None heard? Carried. Thank you. Next up. All right. Review and discuss the comp time policy. This was created a few years ago. And it's supposed to be updated yearly. And the reason it was created is because our police department did not have enough people, and it was constantly not having the time to be able to take off. So this was put in place to allow compensation for their comp time that they would not be able to use otherwise. Especially now that we are down one officer, this situation has not gotten better. And I would be looking to approve this for another year. Pending the board's approval.
I move that we re-up the comp time policy that was originally adopted on December 13th, 2022 for another year.
Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor, discussion? With this discussion, we will need to look at our budget because it is a budget item. But I think it's manageable.
Have they thought about capping this?
We can discuss that, we can look at that. No, that's not in there, but we can look at that, yeah.
And the reason I'm saying is I'm not. I work for the county, they didn't cap it, so if Tim actually retired today, and you owe me 800 hours of comp time. Budget or not budget, I get paid.
Yeah.
Or if it's capped, you know that when I retire, I only have that much on the book, that's all I'm gonna get out. So proof of thought.
Yeah, we've been paying this out yearly.
Is it, I'm just saying, is it, I haven't read this, but is it in there that it's paid out yearly in here?
What is designed to actually be used as comp time, you know, as opposed to vacation, sick time and whatnot. It's actually supposed to be, that's the idea of it. However, it's not used or can't be used, then it has been paid out at the end of the fiscal year. Which can be problematic depending. So, but the idea of capping and adding some additional language, I think is proper, definitely.
But what I'm saying is that
No, I
I'm an
understand.
employee, it doesn't say that I have to at the end of the year, you can't force me to take, just, I'm food for thought, I'm thinking of us.
Well, the
You know, it
comp
says
time,
in here that it's gotta be used in a certain amount of time,
Right,
it's, the language is, I'm playing the devil advocate, being a
No,
union member
I
and a non-union member,
yeah, yeah.
but I had to go through this because it's not there, then. I obviously don't have a union to fight it, but
I wanna table this then. My recommendation would be to table this and let's take another look at it. This is not time sensitive.
I'm not saying this is not right, but it might be something. And I don't have a problem doing it this year either, then for next year, work on it.
Well, go ahead.
I think it makes sense then to table it because you've got questions. And we could all have a meeting with the chief if he's not able to come to one of our regular meetings. And talk about how officers are assigned. What the issue is right now and how, I mean, because all these schedules are approved by him as well, so. We don't have situations where, say, an officer nearing retirement is going to accrue extra 100 hours or whatever. But let's get the questions answered.
Okay.
You wanna withdraw the motion?
I will withdraw my motion.
With that.
I make a motion to withdraw my motion.
Can we have a motion we need a motion to
No,
table?
just
All right, we're just gonna table this then. And we will set up a time with chief. All right. All right, Fran had to depart. So comments by attorney. Comments by, okay, I've got quite a bit, so would you guys like me to go first?
Oh, please.
Okay.
The floor is yours.
All right.
If you go say it is can. Sorry.
Okay, so ours. So lately, we have been, certain employees have been paid quarterly, of which we fall into that category. There's been some, issues in the past as we are clearing out payments. And the discussion was brought up, would it be better if we were paid monthly? Because part of the quarterly issue is if you go January, February, March, we're being paid January, February under the old fiscal calendar and March under the new one. If we're doing things correctly.
Right.
Or so. I was discussing with, we had an issue with this with one of our employees just recently. So we don't need a decision on this now, but I want you to think about whether or not we should switch from quarterly payments, which then cross fiscal and calendar years, which are tax, Or do we want to just go with monthly, which would be easier for tax year purposes? Again, don't need a decision right now. Putting it out there for discussion. So right now, we're getting paid for 2 months, January, February. And then we will get another paycheck in March because that's the 3 months. And it crosses our fiscal year, which starts on 1 March.
What's easier for the staff?
So we've gone through a lot of convolutions on this and they have a plan now. And I asked them and they're like, now that they have the plan, they can do this. Now, Mary Ellen goes, of course, if you do monthly, it's always easier from her perspective, but it's Melissa that's the one that's doing the payroll. So they left it entirely up to us. Again, don't need a decision right now, but something I want to put out there for food for thought, and I will put this on the agenda for next month, so that when we start our new fiscal year, we will figure out how we want to do this. Okay, so this is just, I think we will decide this in March
Okay.
when we start our new thing. Okay. All right. So if you would break out your recreation packets here. There was a recent article in the Cortland Standard came out Saturday. And there's some things I need to address. And I appreciate, unfortunately, I was able to give some comments, but I wasn't able to give the detailed numbers in time before print, so I apologize for that. But as we discussed before, this is the letter that the 3 municipalities sent to Cortlandville. All right, and on the back, you see Mayor Nosif signed later. I was the second in the process and he was the third, so they're all 3 of us signed. And essentially it was when Cortlandville made the decision not to agree to the contract for all 3 of us, there are second and third order effects throughout. And this letter addresses that for all the communities. So there are some that are more specific to the city, some more specific to the village, but it's all kind of in here. The town and the village clerks started getting some phone calls and complaints from the Cortlandville residents about this. So I created a short little script and basically said that for our office staff to tell the concerned residents of Cortlandville that the town of Cortlandville opted not to sign a recreation contract with the village of Homer, city of Cortland, or village of McGraw this year. This was in part a situation created by the reduction of sales tax revenue due to the Cortland County Legislature keeping more sales tax and reducing the amount given to local community municipalities. As such, Cortlandville residents may not be able to participate in certain recreation activities. Other activities may require a non-resident fee in addition to the normal registration fee. This is to recoup the additional costs that would have been covered under contract. The Village of Homer Board of Trustees regrets this action, but feels it would be unfair to Homer residents whose taxes pay for these activities to subsidize other communities that are not sharing in the costs. Please direct your concerns and complaints to your elected representatives, and they have a list, and the County Board of Legislature. And that is what I said at the Cortlandville meeting was it Thursday? Wednesday, okay. Because the town and our staff were getting and recreation department were getting these phone calls, and it does that no good for us. We can't do that. They need to talk to their legislators, their council people. One of the council people, if you look in your packet and you can see on the second page, said raised serious questions about whether Homer Recreation is managing its resources effectively. And seeing that this council person had never looked at our budget, had never come to us, had never asked for anything, I'll be honest, I kind of take affront to that. And just so people know, and pass that to either of them. So in 2025, the Village of Homer recreation budget was $190,121. The Town of Homer contract was $35,985, which accounted for about 18.5%. The Town of Cortlandville was $21,253, and the Village of Homer was the rest. Now, the Town of Cortlandville contract was significantly lower than the town because the village did not provide the Town of Cortlandville an updated contract soon enough. Town budget cycles and village budget cycles are off by about 3 months or 2 months. They have to have theirs done by, was it December, right, Mike?
November.
November, and we don't have to have ours done until February, so that was kind of a mea culpa on that they only paid 21,000 at the time. We were going, okay, it's better to have $21,000 and have all the Cortlandville residents participate than none at all. Well, this year, we did get the contract in on time, and it would have been about 35,985 because when our rec department and Andrew, our rec director, did the analysis of the number of people and participants, it turned out to be about 35,000. So that would have put them at about 18 and 18% with the Town of Homer. They opted not to. So we have the same contract with the Town of Homer, which now instead of 18.5 covers 20% just because we have another person out, and the Village of Homer covers the rest at 80%. So both of the towns are on a similar budget. Okay, so we kept, if that had happened, if they had continued with the 35,000, we probably would have continued with our budget of 190,000 if this had gone through. If this had gone through, Cortlandville would have paid 18.4 on the 2026 recreation budget. However, since Cortlandville opted out, they are paying 0%. With a loss of revenue, the village decreased the recreation budget to 177,475, which is a 12,646 or a 6.65 decrease. While the Town of Homer contribution stayed at 35.9, their percentage contribution increased to 20%. I should just read my notes here and try to. So these are just monetary numbers. At no time, to my knowledge, did Cortlandville contribute 21%. I don't know where this council person got that number. And then you look at the bang for the buck. Our program overview is that we provide year-round recreation programming, youth programs, swimming, basketball, softball, football, summer sports camps, and more. Over 55 programs. All right. Many of these programs are still available to Cortlandville residents, but they will have to pay an additional non-resident fee. So I want to be clear, a lot of these programs are still open to Cortlandville. They're just gonna have to pay a little bit more for a non-resident. Adult programs like the free community Pilates, yoga, and yoga for those over 55. Cortland residents will no longer be able to use this. Those programs are very popular and they always fill up quite quickly. The community events, Easter egg hunt, Halloween parade, kids zone, Oktoberfest, Magic on Main, outdoor movie, music nights on the green, movie nights on the green, the free outdoor municipal ice rink, which is the only outdoor municipal ice rink in the county, which is nice. Access to Durkee Park, Newton Waterworks Park, Kaleo Park, and Hodge Riverwalk Park. Those are all still open to everybody. All right, we already paid the fee for that. We want everybody to come down and enjoy. I know this is tough fiscal times and people need to get out. Come on down to the Village of Homer. We would love to have you and enjoy the sunshine and enjoy everything that we have to offer. So the purpose of my statement was to let the town know what the village is keeping a door open, letting their council know that we have received complaints and that we were directing those complaints back to them. I could go into more detail, but I don't want to overdo this. But I want to make sure that first, last, and always, we want to keep the door open for communication on ways to make things better. I was a little, we can work together without these accusations, all right? our budget is open. We keep a copy on the counter. My door is always open. So, you know, for someone to say something like that, who hasn't done a deep dive or any dive at all into our budget, recreation or otherwise, is a little off-putting. I know this is one person, and I keep it at that it's one person that said this. Andrew, our recreation director, is a phenomenal person. And he reads the Cortland Standard, and he was a little, well, he does a great job. He does a lot to stretch the dollar. He gets grants, he gets sponsorships. Holy cow, he is awesome. And with it,
He's always looking for new things. So
always looking for new things, yeah.
It's not like he's not managing his resources.
Yeah. So please come use our basketball courts. I forgot pickleball courts. We got great pickleball courts. And you know, a lot of our other programs are still available. They're just at an additional non-resident rate. So I take great pride in our recreation department and the people that help put it together. And we can always, there's always room for improvement. I'm not saying there's not.
In fact, Andrew, she knows, I think we're talking about the budget in our meeting, he hasn't raised it since he's been here, I don't think, has he?
Yeah, we went
Residency.
three years, I think.
Well,
without
residency, it's not like he's raising on them every single year either.
So, yeah,
My board was more than supportive of that program, they wouldn't even. Wasn't never on our radar to even consider cutting that because it's such a valuable asset.
yeah,
I was just surprised that the other municipalities. I was stunned when I read that.
Well, I know he's listening. He laughs at me all the time when we're discussing stuff. I said, Andrew, it's for the kids. It's not,
For all the
I mean, there's
communities.
a lot of stuff for us, but
And the seniors.
you know, my kids grew up with, my
Yeah,
kids
the
grew up with
seniors.
it.
yeah, talk about the seniors that go to see the play over at Cortland Repertory Theater and have the lunches.
I'm sure the people who are looking at this would be stunned at all that Andrew accomplishes with such a small budget. And this, of course, includes the salary for Andrew and everybody else who works with the rec department in that budget. And he accomplishes it because of the great relationships that he has built with our neighbors, our friends, people volunteer, people donate, people want public-private partnerships to sponsor these things because it has been so successful. And that's because of the rec department that we have. It is very frustrating to hear these comments. I'm offended on his behalf as well, and I would also note that if Cortlandville wants to participate, they can also have members join the rec committee and look carefully at how money is spent and how many people enjoy different programs that we choose to fund, because of course, we are careful with our tax dollars to make sure that the programs that Andrew has built up and created are the ones that residents are most appreciating. And this, you know, this goes from residents, you know, our kids who are involved in the different sports programs and arts programs, people who come out to the music, the movies, the festivals, seniors who take the trip up to the Cortland Repertory Theater and enjoy the senior center. All of this is tied to his work. So, you know, Cortlandville should, I think, they owe him an apology. And I imagine it comes from the shame that they feel in helping to gut a rec program that they know their residents need.
So, Andrew, we love you. All right. Next up. Super taxes, what do I have here? Oh, yes. So in the, previously, we had approved to add into our tax bill that if you want a receipt, you need to include a stamped self-addressed envelope. We have been informed by the state that we can't do that. So. All right. So that won't be added on the tax bill. Yeah, just.
We wanna follow.
Do you want a motion to rescind that?
No, we don't have to, we just, so it was section 986, receipt for taxes. Subsection 2, the comptroller shall prescribe the forms of such receipts, and they shall be furnished to the town collecting officer by the board of supervisors at the expense of the county. to the city collecting officer by the council at the expense of the city, to the village collecting officer by the village trustees at the expense of the village, to the school collecting officer by the school authorities at the expense of the school district. The expense of mailing receipts shall be a charge against the appropriate city, town, village, or school district. Thank you, state of New York.
It's pretty clear.
Yeah.
That's nice.
That's not what I was thinking, Mike, but yeah, we can go with that.
So that means we gotta change our policy too.
You. You're
I
not
didn't
hearing
hear
it from me,
that.
Mike.
Have our money back?
Yeah. Right, so this summer. NYSEG's intentions to complete the natural gas construction along Franklin Street within the village of Homer. NYSEG will be installing approximately 470 feet of 2-inch high-density main to replace the existing 2-inch steel main. This will be done via horizontal directional drilling within the lawn of the north side right-of-way. Services are to be transferred to the new main in coordination with the project. The old will be cut dead and purged of all gas to conclude the project. 40 expected excavations are to occur off-road. No pavement impacts anticipated for the problem. They are looking to do directional boring. So that should be minimize the issue. However, for those residents in there, we will be keeping an eye because as the rest of the village has gone through this, we understand that soil disturbances occur and we will be keeping a close eye on DSS or DTS, sorry, to make sure that things are kept clean. All right. We received, I just want to receive and file the Cortland County Democratic Committee sent us a resolution that they sent to the county. I will pass that around, but that's just to receive and file. Mike already talked about the town, but I do want, one of the reasons I like going to the town is not only because of the cross coordination, because sometimes they hit things up that I don't catch or we need to. Such as updating our procurement policy, which needs to be reviewed. So we will look at that in the next couple months and review that. All right, we talked about that. All right, we're in the home stretch for me. 35 James, and I think we talked about most of it. We covered that. I got when it was notified on Sunday and I got over there, we had the city of Cortland, we had Cortlandville, Homer Fire Department, TLC, Homer Police Department, Homer, the Sheriff's Department. We had National Grid and we had our animal control. Newton Waterworks was even involved in this. And I know I'm probably missing out on some other people, but it was Red Cross, but it was a phenomenal response. The structure still stands, although we talked about that. The house next door had some vinyl that melted off, but it's still livable for that part. And I am just am awed and impressed by how our community works together and came together for such what could have been, and as we talked about before, codes, what could have been a tragic outcome was not. There were some injuries, which I know you guys have probably read in the paper, but the injuries compared to what could have been for a fire of this magnitude, I am just, I can't say enough thanks to all involved and the mutual aid that came together. It was impressive. So.
Is James Street reopened?
James Street is reopened, yep. And we are going through the process now. We've secured it. These will be posted. The owner will be informed, and we will continue along what we have to do. So. All right. Now with that. Tim, anything you wanna add? Mike?
I just wanted to note that trustee Arnold and I took a trip down to the firehouse. So we met with Chief Riley and President Van Etten, and I'll probably just save my comments so I can collect them and think of how to say it more eloquently, but we were really impressed. They run a tight ship over there. It the tour was great. I'm impressed that they have a list of the equipment and the timeframes in which they need to be decommissioned. They have a growing list of needs at the facility. So I think we're looking forward to figuring out ways that we can help them.
Great. Elizabeth?
Nothing for me tonight, thank you.
All right. With that, I will open it up to the press.
I have a couple of questions.
Fire away.
I don't have any.
Thanks, Mike.
I thought I'd ask first. The guy who came in earlier for the motion to declare it as a dangerous building and the condemnation. Adam, what was his last name and what? Adam Brown, and what is
He is our code enforcement officer.
He's a fire inspector and he's doing double duty as a code enforcement officer as well.
And do you happen to have the name of the owner of the building? I feel like they were mentioned several times, but.
I did not mention it. I think you can find that in other sources. I just don't wanna. She is currently incarcerated, and I don't want to bring any more embarrassment upon the family.
Okay. And also has with the, I should have asked this earlier because I know that the rec topic has been kind of frequent over the last months, but is Homer considering reaching out to other municipalities with, now that Cortlandville isn't with the city and McGraw anymore, is Homer thinking about reaching out to other municipalities and offering these services in exchange?
Right now, no, because the working with Cortlandville was really, in my opinion, they were getting a lot more than what the money was. So we don't need the Cortlandville money to run our programs. I mean, yes, we reduced it. And at first we were thinking about, of all the festivities, National Night Out might be on the chopping block, but Chief Pittman is already looking to get sponsors for that. So that could very well be right back up, and we'll see no loss for our programs. What we are looking at, and what we think is a serious consideration, because these sales tax cuts hit every municipality. And what we're looking at is how can we now leverage with other recreation departments? Maybe we coordinate with the city or like the youth bureau, but I'll let Andrew, we'll talk about that later, but that is definitely a direction that we can look to go for a more regional multi-town city approach to recreation. So, leverage the strength in numbers.
Andrew serves on the board of the youth bureau in Cortland. So I mean, there's constant conversations about programs. For example, our youth sports, the basketball, the football, they all play the other team. That there's a lot of back and forth.
So it's a matter of proximity also, because Cortlandville, like, we share a border,
Right.
but like Preble is far away.
Yeah, well, but I mean, there's options. We can, I'm not leaving it, I'm not taking anything off the table.
Okay.
So. Did that answer your question, Sid?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody from online? Danielle? Oh, that's Chief Riley.
I just appreciate Andrew and everything he does for his community. he's probably recorded the thing you said about him and how nice it was. So I love Andrew too. I want that to be on record.
Yeah. Hey, Jay, I know I told you before, but I'll tell you and your guys again, amazing job on the stop. And, you know, the volunteer fire departments, I got to meet the mayor from DeRuyter. I got to see Kevin Whitney. So our volunteer fire departments rock.
No,
So,
it's a collaboration. It's the county as a whole. It's a small county, and we also do a lot of training together. So it shows when it comes to things like that. Things happen seamlessly on the scene. We know what everybody brings to the party. We do joint trainings. Um, it's awesome. I mean, no matter where we go in the county, we all know each other, and I couldn't. It's just it's a beautiful thing about living in such a small county in a tight knit community like that.
well, the other, I was talking with Devin, yesterday, Jane. He told me that when you guys needed some more, he started both pumps to increase the water pressure. And I
Oh,
mean,
it's a community
we're
effort
all-
by everybody.
yeah, it's called the water department, yeah.
Yeah, but we try to explain to the firemen, Jay, that that's just filling the tanks up, it has nothing to do with the water pressure.
That's a yeah, that was nothing to do with the tanks, or the awesome. Everybody came together, all facets. I couldn't be happier. It was a lot of bulk of fire. We got knocked down pretty good, and at the end of the day, nobody got seriously hurt, and it's a really nice fire department to be a part of, and the community as a whole came together. So it's awesome. I also want to appreciate the trustees for coming down and taking time to walk through and check out the fire department with us. So all that's good stuff.
So if anybody wants to be a part of an amazing team and be a volunteer fire department, be a volunteer fireman, come down to the firehouse, they'll hook you up. All right. All right. That is all I have. Any more questions from the press? Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
Andrew, did you?
I'm going to jump on real quick. I want to say thank you for your support. I want to say thank you for the kind words tonight. Dealing with the Cortlandville issues, I appreciate the support from the board and from you, Mayor. We couldn't do all that we do at the rec department without all the other departments. The fire department has been great, from logistics to just simply offering to store the snowmobile, everything. The father-daughter dance, the DPW, everybody's great. Everybody's willing to pitch in and help out with all these events. And that leads me into mentioning Ward again, from being a member on the rec committee, serving popcorn at Movies in the Green, uh, cookies and cocoa at Light of My Life. He was instrumental in getting support for the CRT trip and Bob's Barbecue field trip. He and his wife were the first recipients of the Volunteers of the Year award. So he'll be sorely missed, and my thoughts and prayers are out to his wife for a speedy and full recovery. So thank you for everything.
Thanks, Andrew. All right. I have nothing for executive session. So with that,
Just give the time.
oh, the time is 6:50. I call myself, or 1850 hours for those military types. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
I have a